All right, it's time to make some breakfast for these kiddos. Get them started off right. I always like to start with some bacon and eggs. That way they get a good start to their day. Something I used to think took a lot of time, but once you get good at it a few times, once you get it down, you really can nail it. Helps to have two pans going, I find. I like to cut their bacon in half. It makes it a lot easier to fit in the pan. You can also cook the bacon in the oven. Takes a little longer. But it's usually hurry time in the morning. As a matter of fact, I've already been through this once this morning because my wife had to be at work at 7. So I got up at 5 and made sure she had her coffee and got her eggs and bacon going. Had some leftover steak from yesterday that she was able to put into her nice little portable heated box that she uses for keeping her food ready when she's on the go. Close one. This thinner bacon's a little harder to separate, but it usually works out really good. The kids seem to like it, nice and thin and crunchy. But it's a great way to get your family started off on the right foot, especially when they're not used to eating a carnivore lifestyle or making the changes that used to be just cereal almost every morning. And now they're starting off their days right, and I really like that. You can see the bacon grease from this morning from my wife's preparation. Now while that's going, I can get the butter started. Usually I like the Irish butter that I get from Aldi, and of course Kerrygold butter is great. This time I got Amish butter because they had a good price on it at Publix, and I was getting some BOGO deals there on some other things. And let's see, oh, and I bought some chuck roast at Publix. Not chuck roast, but ground chuck. That, man, it made up fantastic burgers. I'll make a video about that later because I'm going to make some more of those later today. Don't want the heat too high on either one of these. Need a little more butter than that. Butter is the key to good eggs. And as always, pasture-raised eggs. Sam's Club has these at the best deal I've seen on pasture-raised eggs. 18 eggs for right at $6. That beats Aldi on their regular eggs right now almost. It's close. I think they're about $4.50 or $5 for their dozen, $4 for their dozen. I forget what it is, but it's really close to the same deal. Kids like theirs scrambled. So this, I make them very kind of omelet style and mix them up. Won't let the butter get too hot. And since I'm feeding for 3, because my mother-in-law also stays with us, 6 eggs is usually enough for them to get started. Now, usually I'd pour in a little cream here, but butter is basically cream without the buttermilk. Just a little dab of butter to mix in. Put that off the temperature for just a moment. Try to watch your butter so it doesn't scorch. But mixing that butter in there just really makes it come out nice and fluffy. And then of course cooking with butter, you just can't go wrong. Nice ceramic coated pan. Once you let it sit for just a little bit, you can start to move it around. It's probably a little bit early. I could have waited a little longer. Turn the temperature back up to 40%. And we can start turning some bacon. I like to take the outer pieces and move them toward the inside so that they cook evenly. It's really not necessary to turn them quite this early. But I like to get a good even cooking, and I find that the more you turn things, the more evenly they cook. Bacon is so thin, it really doesn't matter too terribly much. But when it comes to making those big chuck burgers, turning them every couple minutes seems to be just right for making them come out nice and even and not overdone on the outside. Always use a silicone or a wooden spatula. For when you're using, like this is a ceramic coated pan, this one is Teflon. You don't want to be scratching off those surfaces because it won't do the non-stick very long, plus you don't want to be eating the particles themselves. Kind of break it up a little bit here to make it scrambled. Katie had 5 eggs this morning and almost as much bacon, but because she's carnivore fully, she needs to have that extra bit to get started. It'll get her through most of her morning. She took a couple of pieces of steak with her, not pieces of steak, but a few slices of steak that I had left over from yesterday.
Hey folks, real quick, I wanted to come talk to you about one of the keys to my carnivore diet that has made it such a success for me, and that's good clean salt. And today I'm talking about Redmond real salt, and it is just the best tasting salt I've ever had. I have their smoked salts. This is one of my favorites, the cherry smoked salt. I even use their earth powder, which is great for keeping your teeth clean. If you're interested in getting some Redmond salt, go to my link in the description or just go to redmond.life and use my discount code Dante and you'll save 15% on your order. Now back to the video.
All right, bacon's approaching getting ready. So we'll turn them again. Come on, be agreeable. Used to have a habit of cooking bacon to death because I thought it was going to be so bad if you didn't. You know, one of those things when I first started cooking meat, I was wearing gloves all the time, thinking you got to be careful not to. I don't worry about any of that stuff anymore. You just cook your meat good, make sure it smells good, it's going to come out fine. All this stuff we've been scared to death about when it comes to meat is just ridiculous. I think a lot of these things where we hear about people having to kill all their chickens and stuff, absolutely ridiculous, because so many of those chickens were to survive the illness that they were dealing with. If they would let those chickens survive, then those stronger chickens would be able to be more resilient and have more resilient chicks of their own. And we'd have stronger flocks. But the current means of eradicating some kind of disease or a problem seems to be to kill everything. And that's definitely setting us back. I want to be able to get my own chickens again. It's always a struggle raising chickens. Predators always seem to get them eventually. But as long as they've got pasture-raised eggs at a reasonable price at Sam's, I'm thankful. All right, bacon's about at the point where some of them can come off. Put them on the paper towel so that they can get some of that grease off of there. Make them nice and crispy. Getting real close on some of these. Oh, turn the heat off on this baby. Matter of fact, while I'm finishing that up, this is where I love having a silicone. It's great for scraping off anything on the inside without causing any damage to the pan. And I didn't cook it at such a high temperature that it was going to cause any stress getting it wet like this. Ready for the next time. All right, now let's get back to our bacon, which is just about done. Turn the temperature off while I'm finishing up here, so the pan will cool down. It'll make for easier cleaning when I'm done. Wipe up the inevitable grease that splatters. Yes, my family still does coffee. They kind of got me back into it, but I find that it's so much better if I can go without coffee. My wife finds that she loves the bulletproof coffee, at least the way I make it's a little bit different than others. I don't use MCT oil, I use Redmond Relight with our coffee. She just loves it. Gets her started just right. Well, at least she says it does. Feels like you need it after a while. And now I gotta get the grease into the glass. And then this is the part you got to be careful of too, is you do not want to get the glass wet once you got that hot grease in there, because you get a drop of water on that glass and it's gonna pop that glass right open. Meanwhile, we got bacon to go around. And my boys will start off with a delicious breakfast of bacon and eggs. There was a time that I would have thought, you know, this is too much work, it's too much time in the kitchen, but really it doesn't take very long at all. I didn't time it, but if you get it down, it starts to happen real fast, and you can start your family off the right way each morning without that horrible processed food, those cereals and milk and sugar and all that garbage. Get them started on the right foot with a carnivore breakfast. If you've enjoyed this content, I hope you'll like and subscribe and share this with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?